Okay, there we go. So, FYI, so I've basically, what did I do? I killed it for about 10 minutes or so, maybe, since I stopped that last one. I've imported all those pictures that I had on there. You can see there's a total of 5,244 photos. Um, Even though up here in the what they would call the task bar up here, it's telling me that Lightroom right now is building standard previews, but I can still go ahead and start using it while that's happening. I can kind of scroll along here and you can see little previews of what I've imported. Now, I want you to notice, let's just start with the general sort of lay of the land. So here I am in the library module. Okay, so up here along the top, these are all different modules. These are all different ways to use the catalog of photographs. So the library is the biggest one for sort of organizing things. Develop is where we go to actually edit your individual photographs. Map, I don't know. I don't know what map means. I know in my I think that map has come along somewhere within the last few years, and it beats the hell out of me. I'm not gonna look at it. I'm not gonna talk about it. If anyone of you want to like dig in there and find out what that's about, go to it. Book, we will end up using the book module is set up to work with the Blurb presets. Blurb is a company that publishes online books. And so we could choose the sort of preset blurb sizes and we can lay a book out in the book module. Slideshow is just that, for creating slideshows of images. Print is what you use not only to print individual pictures, but we'll end up using the print module for when we are making contact sheets. And then the web module is for creating web galleries and stuff like that. Now, all we are going to use is library, develop, book, and print. Okay? I don't know, maybe I'll have you create some slideshows. I use the slideshows for work that I do for clients and helping me sort of come up with edits. So maybe we'll end up using that a little bit. We won't touch map, and we won't touch web, although some of you may want to. Other things that you need to know. One, I want you to see that these little panels over here on the side, that you can make them disappear if you want. Oops, there we go. Flicking that little button to have a larger library window. And if you just scroll over, it comes back temporarily, and then you can click the button to make it come back and stay. What else do you need to know? I mentioned that you can add metadata or keywords to your pictures. So you could go over to the keyword panel over here, and in the keyword panel, you could type any keyword you want, and that will permanently attach that keyword to that file. So that's great to do. In my case, I really only use it for money work, because that way I can kind of go in there and find the client easily through keywording. I don't apply it to my day-to-day shooting simply because I found a long time ago that whenever I try to do something clever and name something in some clever way or whatever, I can't remember 2 years later what the hell I called anything. Occasionally, if I have a category of pictures, I might end up keywording in that way, but not always. Other things I want to make sure you know how to do. Let's say, so here, for example, here's a whole bunch of pictures that I shot the other night as the sun was going down, and just the silhouette of my wife against the chart of geographical terms in my living room. Now, I'm blowing this up. By the way, I'm just here in the library module. Command plus will give me a nice full view of it. And then I kind of use the arrow button to proceed and move through. And so let's just say that I'm trying to compare two different pictures here. I could go ahead. That's not what I want. No. Now you can tell she's aware. She knows what's happening. I don't know. I don't feel that great about these. Okay, let's say it's between this one and this one here. Once you have a couple photos selected, there are different little ways that you can compare things. So here, I can go here and do this little XY comparison and compare between these. Now, I would be the first to say I don't actually ever use it this way. So there's some bells and whistles here that I'm not very familiar with. So I'll leave it up to you to determine what is the right thing for you to do. I'm going to show you what I think is super useful and helpful and the way that I work, basically. And so within the library, let's just say that I am going through a fresh batch of pictures. And I'm trying to figure out, like, what's a keeper, what's not a keeper. What's of interest to me. Now, the first thing I do, of course, is get horribly depressed at what a shitty photographer I am. That happens to everyone every time you download your pictures. I get it. I'm scrolling back here. Now you can see these are all grayed out. Just wait. They'll come into play here. It's just building the previews. Okay. And once it has created all of the previews, it will speed things up. So I'm just going to zoom in here. And so let's just say I'm scrolling through and I'm trying to figure out which ones are of interest. Now, if I see a picture that in my mind is, I don't know, of interest, a maybe, okay, then maybe what I would do is, usually actually what I do is if you hit the number 7, that adds a yellow label to it. Now the labels are just the same as what you have in Bridge. In Bridge you use Command 6, Command 7, Command 8, etc. to put those color-coded labels on it. Here in Lightroom you don't need to do the command, you can just hit the number and then you'll see the same colored label. And so for example, if I like that one and do a 6, that puts a red label. Okay. Now that label, even though you're not opening the photograph, that label is applied to that photograph and can then be used to help you sort through. To sort through, meaning that you can use a filter. Now, there are a lot of different ways you can filter. You can filter by text, meaning if you have file names that you're trying to filter through, or attribute. Attribute means like you could choose photos from a specific day, or you can use photos with specific metadata. Down here, there's a little more to the filter menu, so I can look at things and I can filter with stars. So 1 through 5 stars, for example, or the different colored labels I was just talking about. Now also, there's another option for flagging your photos. You can flag a photo as a yes, or you can flag a photo as a reject. I don't use the flags, and I get kind of confused about using them, so I'm not going to bother showing you right now. I just want to make it clear that you can filter your photos. So here, for example, when I filter and click red, it's showing me all the photos with a red label on it. Now, you'll see that I just imported these photos, and this photo is the only one that you saw me add a red label to, but there's a bunch of other photos in here. Now, the reason there are a bunch of other photos in here are because those photos, even before I imported them, I had already applied a red label here in Lightroom, just in my other Lightroom catalog, the previous catalog that I had been using. So when you apply that label, it is in the metadata and it becomes attached to the file, okay? So when I import these here, it already shows up with that label. It doesn't mean I can't get rid of the label. I can totally get here and I can set the same number down, so I just hit 6 on that and made it disappear. I got rid of the red label. I can do a Command Z and undo, and there, brings it back. Other things. Oh, the other thing. The most important other thing that's going to help you in terms of organizing your pictures is the idea of creating collections, okay? Because one of the things here, I'm going to get rid of this filter. I want you to see just this big old pile of pictures here. So even though I just imported these pictures, check it out, there's 5,244, right? That's a lot to go through. Now, even though I just imported those, I feel like we should just take a moment here. She see my dog. This is Kit Kat. Even though I just imported those photos, and there are 5,244 photos here, I may want to create different categories. Okay, now I should point out over here on the left, I am currently looking at the previous import. It always holds the last import that you did as one sort of separator. I could go to all photographs. In this case, it's going to be the same thing. Now also, you do have the option of going into a folders view. And this is kind of more like if you're trying to look at things the same way that you do in Bridge, where you go in through folder, through folder, through folder. So here, if I go to 2020-04, that's the most recent photos here. But you'll see there are only 883 photos there. So if I go up to the top, it doesn't go all the way back. It's just whatever I've added in April, okay? Yeah, there's a delicious hamburger for you. Let's see. Oh, but I want to make sure that you understand the idea of creating a collection. I'm going to go back to all photographs here because I think one of the most useful things you can do is create collections here in Lightroom. Now, a collection is simply a group of photographs, okay? And that group of photographs can change. You can get rid of things. You can add more collections. So what I would recommend to all of you is when you come across photos that are kind of interest to you. Here, I'm out there, look at that, just playing with the luscious pink trees that day. Let's see, which one do I like? I kind of like, I feel like this photo got better when I pulled back a little bit because I wanted the viewer to be able to see a little bit of dead foreground. I don't know. Maybe that's a maybe right there. Nah, those don't really do it for me. Okay. Oh wait, here we go. Here's some others. Same tree. This may have been the second day that I walked by there. Let's see. I'm kind of interested in that. Anyway, here, let's just say that I am creating a little pile here of, I don't know, maybe it's kind of interest. Click back here so you can see the big view. Look at how if I press and hold Command, I can click multiple pictures. So there are these 3 pictures that are kind of a maybe for me. If I go over here to Collections and do Create Collection, I would recommend that you all have a collection labeled, whoops, how do I do that? Did it work? Yeah, sorry then. I can't tell what the screencast just did there. Anyway, I would recommend that you all create a collection called something like Contenders. You know, something where it's the pictures that are of interest. Every year in my normal Lightroom catalog, I should have shown you, I always have just a collection there called 2019 Pictures of Interest. You know, and so as I go through, I just keep putting stuff in there because otherwise it's easy to let Lightroom feel like a huge, messy pile of just every picture you ever made, because that's kind of what it is. And so it's up to you to be able to sort and organize. And I think collections, creating collections, like this collection I just created called Contenders here, that is the best way for you to be able to go through and make little groups of pictures, okay? And you can make as many collections as you want. In my other catalog, I've probably got, I don't know, at least 100 different collections going in there. I gave you a challenge to photograph something where the light was sort of unique. Here is, you know, the last onion in my kitchen as of last week when this light was kind of hitting it every day. So maybe I create a collection that's just my, I don't know, my onion pictures. That might be kind of dumb. It is kind of dumb, whatever. But again, I can have a collection. Let's just say it's my onion pictures. There we go. So there's my onion collection right there. Anything else? How to apply labels, how to create collections, how to compare photos, the general lay of the land. I'll be damned, I think we did that. Now, do note that now I'm only looking inside my collection. So if I want to go back out and look at all my other photos, I go here to all photographs, and that way I can see everything that's in there. In terms of the overall lay of the land, also, if you just flip around through here, you'll see you've got a histogram up top, so you get a preview of the histogram. You have a metadata field down below. The metadata field you can set so all of your photos, when you import them, actually have your name in the copyright. Also, they have the pixel dimensions, the day it was shot, the capture time, blah, 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 blah. Everything you need to know, shutter speed, aperture, ISO, etc., etc., etc. All of that is there, okay? You can also change the size of these panels just like in Lightroom. One other thing, you can change the size of the thumbnails, okay? So if you need things to be larger, well, hell, make them larger. There they are. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and stop this one, and then we'll do one more about how to develop